With the recent release of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 ports on the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, I find myself thinking about these games even more than I usually do. As someone who grew up with the Mario Galaxy series, they are my favorite games of all time. The gameplay is amazing, the story might be even better, and the overall vibe of this game is so interesting. I'm assuming you already know all of this though. What is very interesting though, is that these games are chock full of crazy facts, unused content, and some theories that are actually interesting to consider for a Mario game. All of these things mentioned are included in these two iceberg charts that I combined to bring you this video. If you don't know what an iceberg chart is, they are basically a gallery of information. They start with common well-known facts at the top and end with some dark and obscure facts at the bottom. Before we begin, special thanks to the two redditors, Puzzleheaded-Dirt-45 and DiJGit, for making these charts, as without them this video wouldn't be made. Also, this is the second part of this iceberg, so go check out part 1 if you want to catch up. Anyways, let's jump into the definitive Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 iceberg. King Whomp's face. In the Throwback Galaxy, which is a remake of Whomp's Fortress, you get to fight the King Whomp underneath the planet. When fighting him, he has some silly facial expressions. There's one facial expression that gets hidden when you defeat him and he lands on his face. You are unable to see it without camera glitches, but he looks shocked that he got defeated, which is kinda funny. Lonely atmosphere. The whole vibe of these games can seem very lonely during many parts. The whole idea of traveling through a space so vast like the cosmos can give you a sense of loneliness. There are many moments where it is clearly included, like the zoom out on the planet with the bunnies, or the background of the common observatory. This is usually a bad feeling, but at least for me, I'm really glad they made it feel lonely. In a way, it feels lukewarm. Kaneko. There's an unused item in the game known as Kaneko, which is Japanese for mushroom. As the name suggests, this item is a mushroom, but more specifically, the super mushroom from 2D Mario games. This was likely just a test item, but something strange happens with this item. If it doesn't load in, or it's removed from the files, both games will crash. So for some reason, this item is integral to the game running. This is likely just a development error. Entering the small blue house. Remember the shrinking gateway planet I mentioned earlier? Well, when you land on it, you notice that it is pretty small. However, the planet size is a perfect size for you to enter the small blue house on it. When you crouch, you can inch your way inside. There is no room to see anything, and it's only big enough for Mario to just barely fit in it. That's a cool little Easter egg. Yoshi, the space dragon. Normally when you visit Sky Station Galaxy, the house on the first planet has a billboard signed by Yoshi telling you to go around back. However, when you play the Prankster Common mission of this level, the board is signed by Yoshi, the space dragon. You are not a fucking space dragon, Yoshi. Get that shit out of here. Star fragments. In Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Switch, there's an item you can collect called star fragments. What is interesting is that they bear a striking resemblance to the star bits in Mario Galaxy. I mean, these franchises are developed in-house by Nintendo, so this is just a silly reference, but hey, I mess with it. 1991 fan letter. In a fan letter from someone named Jimmy Peterford, they detail what their dream Nintendo system would be. He uses some outdated technology terms like it having 512 bits. But I mean, this was from 1991. Well anyways, what does this have to do with Mario Galaxy? Well, Jimmy said he wanted a game called Super Mario Galaxy to come bundled in with the system. Bro somehow predicted peak. He may be a psychic. He even wrote back when they announced Mario Galaxy. He poked fun at them by saying he wished he thought of the name. This is just a silly little saga of fan letters. Impossible dry bones. In Beach Bowl Galaxy, there's a dry bone on the outside of the bowl. Right when you spawn in the level, this dry bone dies immediately as it is on a death plane. What is strange is that this dry bones doesn't fit the vibe or enemy selection of this stage at all. It was likely just a placeholder that the developers forgot to delete, but it's cool that he exists. It's just sad that his fate is inevitable as he can't do anything to save him. Crashed UFO. In Melty Molten Galaxy, there are multiple instances of you flying past a crashed UFO chilling in the lava pools. This just adds to the level's dangerous and foreboding aesthetic. Throne Room Invincibility. In Mario Galaxy 2, after defeating Bowser in any fight, you land in his throne room with the Grand Star. Most people would just collect the star, but some notice that when you jumped off the cliff, you get enveloped in the same force field that saves you in the Common Observatory. It's interesting that they made you invisible, but it's cool I guess. Super Mario Galaxy More. After the release of Mario Galaxy, the development team found themselves still full of ideas for the game. So they decided to start work on a DLC for the game known as Super Mario Galaxy More or Super Mario Galaxy 1.5. Simple, right? No. The team continued to get more ideas, which eventually led to the game achieving sequel status. Instead of a DLC, it was now Super Mario Galaxy 2. Realistic bugs. One piece of strange unused content in Mario Galaxy are a group of realistic bugs. They have models for larva, a small fly, a big fly, and a big fly. Yeah, that's weird. They even have animations of them flapping their wings. I don't even know where they would have been used to make sense why they were left out. Flip Switch coins. When you load into Flip Switch Galaxy and fly to the planet, you pass 49 brick blocks. All of these blocks have coins in them, and they're impossible to collect even when trying to use glitches. It's funny that they added coins to these blocks for no reason, as you can't even reach them. Deactivated Megalig. In the stage where you fight Megalig, it's possible to reach the Megalig planet and not activate him. Basically, if you jump in the perfect place, you'll catch the planet's gravity and land on the planet. This skips the Megalig activating, so you can roam around on him without anything moving, or any bullet bills being shot. Toads collect coins. In the Sling Pod Galaxy, you can encounter toads stuck in the pods. For some reason, if you launch them into some coins, they will collect them. I don't even know how they could have been programmed to do this, as it requires someone intentionally doing so. There is no feature in which this would have made sense to program, but I guess it's a thing. Cannon coins and lingering hitboxes. I couldn't find anything, I failed you guys. Diving animations. One rare animation in this game that many players won't encounter is a dive animation. If you stand on a ledge and then backflip into water, Mario performs an Olympic-ass dive. Just more proof that Mario is secretly an athletic demon. Super jumps. You can jump higher if you use the Co-Star multiplayer mode. The second player has to aim the cursor at Mario or Luigi. Then you both have to press A at the same time. This results in a higher jump that can reach some areas that you couldn't before. For some reason, this feature was removed for Galaxy 2, but at the end of the day, this move doesn't matter, and neither does life. Live with it. First Luma is the Common Observatory. There's a theory that the Common Observatory Rosalina uses as a home for the Lumas, and as a ship to travel through space, is actually the first Luma she meets. I don't really know how to feel about this theory. I prefer the one that says that the Luma that joins Mario in his adventure is the first one Rosalina met, as he literally calls her Mama, and obviously they are pretty close. Hitting Bowser Jr. In Galaxy 1, when fighting Bowser Jr., you would usually just throw the Koopa shell straight at the ship. However, you can hop on the side of the ship and throw a shell right at him. This puts little bro on his ass and it gives you plenty of extra star bits. This is useless information, but I found my new way of attacking Bowser Jr. now. Swimming in Loop-de-Swoop. One would assume that you can't swim in Loop-de-Swoop Galaxy, however, there's some complicated use of moves and momentum. You actually can. If you perform a homing ground pound on the Chief Penguin, you end up landing on the race checkpoint. From there, you can long jump to the water and swim around. There is no reason to do this other than proving you are the master of dumb shit. Good job! Counter-attacking Bowser. Similar to Bowser Jr.'s fights, there's a secret attack you can perform. Well, technically it's a counter-attack. After Bowser tries to hit you with the spin move, you can counter with a spin move, which sends Bro in the air, where he then slams himself towards you. This is even more useless than the Bowser Jr. one, but it's funny that Bowser tries to use your own move against you, and you just use it back at him. Deep Dark Hidden Crate. I believe this entry refers to the Boo in a Box secret star in this level. When swimming through the water, you can pick up a shell and throw it at these ship ruins. When they break, they reveal a launch star. When you use the launch star, it takes you into a box with one singular Boo. There is light moving around the room that you have to lure the Boo into. When you do, Bro dies like a fucking bot, then bam, you get a star. Do I get rewards for doing bad things in real life too? Freezing Octoombas. In the files of the game, there's an unused feature in which you can freeze Octoombas. You needed Ice Mario to do this. As Ice Mario, you go up to the Octoomba and do a spin attack. For some reason, this turns them into a giant ice block. Once turned into an ice block, you can slide them around or ground pound them to get star bits. Pretty interesting. Buoy Base Owner. Since Buoy Base is, well, a base, that means someone has to own it. The game doesn't really give you any pointers, so I'm making my own theory. After the events of Super Mario 64, the giant penguin you race decides he is sick of Earth, so Bro goes to space and realizes it's dangerous. This realization makes the penguin get power hungry. He took over a peaceful planet and transformed it into Buoy Base. Also, I lie about this being a theory. My dad is Miyamoto, and he told me this is the case. Jungle Beat Leftovers. The developers of Mario Galaxy started working on it after they completed Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. As a result of this, some leftover content from Jungle Beat ended up in Galaxy files. This includes the final boss, animals like monkeys, pigs, and bees, and even some projectiles and environmental assets. It's cool how the team left part of their history in Mario Galaxy, unintentionally or not. Lava Spire, Lava Pause. When climbing the lava spire in Melty Molten Galaxy, there are brief parts where the spire stops falling for like a second. So, you can get a breather. I mean, this is one of the most stressful segments of Mario Galaxy 1, but I prefer if there wasn't a pause at all. Like, come on, bro, I wanna prove to you I'm a true gamer. Unused missions. There are 4 unused missions in the code of Mario Galaxy. 2 are meant to be in the opening level known as Castle Gardens. One is unnamed and the other is called Peach's Castle. This hints that we're going to revisit this place, but instead we got Grand Finale Galaxy. Bowser's Star Reactor has 2 missions that went unused as well. One is called Stopping the King of Koopas, and the other one is unnamed as far as I can tell. Manually flying to Hungry Luma galaxies. Usually, Hungry Luma planets can only be accessed via a pink launch star, however there is an exception to this rule. In Seaside Galaxy 1, the Hungry Luma there turns into that green planet with shrinking platforms. You can reach it by jumping into a cannon and shooting yourself towards the planet. I guess the game got tired of doing shit for us and made us work for that star. Airship Armada maximum coins. Due to many parts of Airship Armada being fast-paced due to moving ships and platforms, the total amount of coins in this level is unknown. What sucks is people try to do perfect coin runs, and this level can be a wrench in this, as we don't truly know if it's even possible to collect them all. Baby Rosalina. I hate Baby Rosalina. She was introduced to Mario Kart 8 for absolutely no reason at all. What makes me dislike her is that she directly contradicts Rosalina's backstory. In Mario Galaxy, when you enter the library, you get to listen to Rosalina read a book that chronicles her backstory and explains how she became the leader of all the Lumas. In the story, she doesn't go into space until she is like 10 years old or something. She then meets the Lumas and becomes the Rosalina we now know. She wasn't a space princess when she was a fucking baby. Get this filler character out of here. Deep Dark Pipe. In Deep Dark Galaxy, there's a pipe box room above the main planet. When hacking, it's revealed that this box room is actually the underground portion of the galaxy you can access via a pipe. This is just one of few examples of a visible pipe room, which is kind of neat. NVIDIA Shield version. In 2018, Nintendo released an HD version of Mario Galaxy in China on the NVIDIA Shield TV system. This port had updated controls as the NVIDIA Shield didn't have motion controls. As mentioned earlier, this game was upscaled to HD, as this was an HD system, meaning that this was the first time they released the game in HD. This was a win for Nintendo, as gaming laws are notoriously strict in China. Beta songs. There are 3 unused beta songs I can find. One is background music for when Mario is in a bubble. Another is an early version of the airship theme, and the final one is an alternate version of the catastrophe music. Although these are neat to have from the files, I do like the final versions better. Also, the bubble song doesn't matter to me, as when you enter a bubble in the final game, you continue to hear the stage theme. I feel if a new theme played for the bubbles, it would have broke the cohesion. Comet Luma Wands effect. If you remove the white glow on the Comet Tico's wands, you will see that the inside of the wands distort the background by zooming in and warping its shape. It's cool that this effect exists, but it sucks we can't really see it with the white glow. It just represents the abilities of Comet Tico in a subtle way. Red Toad. In Sand Spiral Galaxy, you can encounter a red toad. This is very strange, as the only toads you find in space are the Toad Brigade. Even stranger is that the only red toad in the Toad Brigade is Captain Toad. So finding this guy is strange. What probably happened is this was supposed to be Captain Toad, but the developers forgot to add his drip. But I like my theory better. This guy was kicked out of the Toad Brigade as he was corrupted by his greed. Bro wanted to get his hands on the power stars for nefarious purposes. Alternate black hole death. This entry refers to a dramatic ass black hole death one can achieve. I don't know how to, but this video shows what the death looks like in Bowser Jr.'s fearsome fleet. Yeah, this is pretty dramatic and honestly creepy. Bro just kinda gets pulled in, not even spun around it or anything. Halley's Comet. In the kitchen observatory, you can notice a comet in one of the windows. When looking at this texture in the files, it actually is revealed to be a modified picture from a real-life comet from NASA. The comet is called Halley's Comet. I like how Nintendo used a real-life picture of a comet in this game. It shows they know their shit to an extent. Rosalina's father. Rosalina's father is only briefly mentioned in her storybook, and that's really it. With the mystery of Rosalina's father identity, it led to many different theories being developed. One of the most common theories is that her father is Luigi. Yes, Luigi. It gets crazier, as part of this theory also says that Peach is her mom. Yeah, some crazy shit. Also, that means Rosalina would have to be from the future, but whatever, I guess. Scrapped Boss Blitz rematch. In World S of Galaxy 2, there is a level known as Boss Blitz where you refight bosses from Galaxy 1. These bosses include Dino Piranha, King Caliente, Major Burrows, Bouldergeist, and a Fire Dino Piranha. However, when looking at the files, there were 5 scrapped paths hinting that more bosses were planned for this level. I feel Mega Leg and the Chief Topman would have been cool fights to bring back. Polestar Path Humanoid. In the first mission of Space Junk Galaxy, there's a hidden humanoid shape in the final section. You walk on these paths that only appear when you get close to them, and they go away when you get far enough. When looking at the complete path, it turns out to take a humanoid shape. It's cool that it's hidden, and most people don't notice it as they're too worried trying not to fuck up this gimmick. Seaslide Tiny Penguin. In the second mission of Seaside Galaxy, you can find a tiny penguin walking around near the lighthouse. If you get too close, the penguin will run away. Why are you scared, little bro? I don't know why they added him, but he is in the game. Bowser unintentionally creates dark matter. This entry is most likely a theory, but I doubt this is true because Bowser has a whole place to make dark matter. There is a galaxy in the game known as Bowser's Dark Matter Planet. You even fight him on a planet where dark matter is being made. Maybe the theory is saying he unintentionally created it, but then used it intentionally when taking over the universe, but I don't know. Lily pad flying. On any lily pad in this game, you can make it fly, well kind of. Jump on the lily pad and crouch near the edge, then you perform a spin kick repeatedly. This causes the lily pad to lift up slightly with each spin, which means you can get pretty high with them. I didn't even know about this, so this was surprising to learn. It kinda reminds me of the glitches in Breath of the Wild with flying minecarts. Matter Splatter Hidden 1-Up. At the start of the final section of Matter Splatter Galaxy, there are 6 columns. One of them has a 1-up suspended in the air that is pretty easy to get. What this entry is referring to is 2 1-ups way above these columns that are seemingly impossible to get. No triple jump, spin, or backflips can get you to the 1-ups, so they are a mystery. Maybe the developers were fucking trolling people who noticed them by making them inaccessible. Touching the beacon. You cannot touch the beacon in Mario Galaxy. The beacon is that glowing thing in the center of the observatory. It is surrounded by an invisible wall and prevents you from touching it. Maybe this entry is theorizing that it theoretically could be possible, but I haven't seen it been done before. Duplicate torch. I'm not gonna lie, I do not know what this means, and I couldn't really find anything about it, so here's a picture of Mario and a torch. Here's a picture of a torch in Minecraft. Amazing content from me. Honestly, like I said before, you should subscribe if you like this video, because this is probably the best entry that I've done. Beyond the Garden. The garden is the 6th and final dome in Mario Galaxy. The inside has no music, just nature sounds and a beautiful background on a cliff with rocks and foliage. I think this entry just means that everyone who sees this dome probably wants to go beyond the dome. The inside of this dome is the only one that makes it look like a pocket dimension. Every other dome is a room except for this one. I mean, I would like to explore this place too. Maybe the garden represents Rosalina's time on Earth, but I guess we'll never know. Demo Mario. There's an unused Mario model in the game called Demo Mario. The model looks pretty much the same, just missing the rim lighting most models have in this game. There are slight color differences, and Demo Mario has more polygons, but they are still very similar looking. The default pose of the model is a freeze frame of a walking animation. The model also has 2 alternate colorations. One is white and blue, which was probably an early design for the ice suit. The other is brown and green, and I don't know what it's supposed to be. Maybe they were going to add a shit mushroom, but it was scrapped. Rosalina saves falling players. The fact that Rosalina covered the whole Comet Observatory shows that she has the ability to create force fields. When exploring the Comet Observatory, if you accidentally fall off, you get enveloped in a force field that brings you back to the ground. That means that Rosalina is most likely catching you and bringing you back. How thoughtful, Rosalina, thank you. Comet Tico becomes Lubba. This theory states that the Comet Tico from Galaxy 1 becomes the iconic Captain Lubba. The only thing I could see making this true is that they are both purple, but that's really it. I'm not saying I 100% don't believe this theory. I say this because we don't know much about Lubba at all, so who knows, maybe it is true. Space Junk Galaxy Cosmic Race. There are 4 cosmic races in the final version of Mario Galaxy, however there was a scrapped 5th race in the Space Junk Galaxy. No one really knows why it was scrapped, but it kinda sucks. Space Junk Galaxy has a perfect vibe for this game, so a race through it would have been really fun. Boneyard of Mario Skeletons. In the bottom of the cave in Boo's Boneyard Galaxy, there's a pile of skeletons. What is interesting is that the skeletons reuse the model of Mario's skeleton when he gets electrocuted. While being a simple reuse of models, it has dark implications that somehow Mario died there countless times and came back. Maybe it's from the universe resets, but who knows. All I know is this is pretty dark when you have context. Eyes in the Sand. In Dusty Dune Galaxy, it was found that there are objects called eye beamers underneath the sand in one of the planets. What's interesting is that when attempting to locate the eye beamers through hacking, they appear far away from the planet and somehow load underneath when you start the level. If you're interested in the more technical side of why this happens, I would check out Swanky Box's video on this topic. Japanese text. This is a line that appears if you talk to Rosalina when you first encounter her. However, the second you get close enough, a cutscene triggers, making it impossible to read this text in-game. When translating the text in English, it means in front. This was likely a remember for the developers to position Mario in front of Rosalina during the cutscene, and nothing else. This is still cool to know though. Wormholes are a theory that's based on the theory of general relativity. Basically, space-time folds over itself, allowing you to kind of teleport to faraway places through these folds. This is all very complicated and I likely butchered the explanation, but the point of this is to explain how there is a form of wormholes only accessible through flight. You need to enable flight through hacking to even experience this phenomenon. When flying, if you start and stop flying really fast while changing direction, sometimes Mario will get thrown really far away almost instantly. I already plugged bro, but SwankyBox explains this in details I couldn't even begin to understand, so check it out if you want. Launch Star Harp Soundtrack. I think this entry is referring to the fact that the Launch Star sound effect is produced by harps. This was honestly a new discovery for me, but I love it. Harps are a kind of weird and powerful looking instrument, so adding them in the game about space is just tough. Tokyo Patrol Error. Tokyo Patrol Error is a line of text that appears often in unused MSBT files in Mario Galaxy 2. MSBT stands for Message Studio Binary Text and is used in Nintendo games to store assets relating to text. I have no idea what Tokyo Patrol Error means, but it was likely just a placeholder text object. It's just an interesting combination of words. Sonic Rumors. For some reason in 2010, it was rumored that Sonic was going to be a playable character in Mario Galaxy 2. This started from a pre-release tweet by Endgamer magazine, but ultimately the claim was false and had no evidence whatsoever. I mean, I love Sonic in his games, but come on, this would never fucking happen. The only crossovers these guys had were in the Olympics and Smash Bros. If he was going to be in a Mario game, that would be clearly fucking obvious with the game's title. Bluegrass Galaxy. Bluegrass Galaxy is a rumored location in Mario Galaxy 2. Apparently it was present in the pre-release build for this game, but there is no evidence of that. The term bluegrass probably relates to the music genre. What is semi-interesting is that the Puzzle Plant Galaxy has a bluegrass stage theme, so maybe this refers to that? Who knows though, this is just a speculative galaxy at this point. Beach Bulk Cave's Emotional Aura Reset. Similar to Mario 64's Wet Dry World Negative Aura Reset, this is a theory that a location in Beach Bowl Galaxy acts as a liminal space that can reset the player's emotions and aura to a targeted one. The cave in Beach Bowl Galaxy is the only instance of no music playing in the game's levels. This suggests that this level can reset your aura to a more positive one, as the galaxy has a happy-ass vibe. This is an interesting theory to think about. I'm going into the house to play with my brother. In the first mission of Gold Leaf Galaxy, you have to find these star chips. Nearby there's a golden bunny that has normal dialogue until you talk to him after collecting the chips. The bunny says, "I'm going into the house to play with my brother." What is eerie about this is the fact that there is no house in this stage, and the bunnies never suggest they have siblings or any relationship like that. This is unsettling, but I do gotta say, what is blood yapping about? Blue Star. In the files, there's a texture for a blue power star. No one knows how you would have collected these, but they did end up turning into playground rumors, with many making up hoaxes that claim they unlocked the blue star. I mean, I don't care about this too much, but I do wonder how they would have been collected if they were implemented. Sling Pod Screaming. When Mario's on a sling pod, for some reason, they will let out some unsettling sounds if the pointer icon is pulled all the way to the edge of the screen. Some people compare these sounds to screams. Obviously, this is a sign to let go of the sling pod, but I wonder why this specific sound was chosen. The Luigi timeline is canon. This is just a theory entry, basically stating that when you unlock the ability to replay this game as Luigi, these events actually happen. Maybe it occurs after the timeline reset. Anyways, this is interesting to ponder, but it doesn't matter too much, as we will never know. Hatched Good Egg. Similar to the Blue Star, there's a playground rumor that you can hatch the Good Egg Galaxy egg. Some say a giant Yoshi comes out of it, others bring it full circle and say this is how you get the Blue Star. This rumor was obviously false, but it would have been cool to see if it was real. Neutered Personalization AI. This is like a sequel to the personalized AI in Mario 64. Basically, this game has its own AI that personalizes each copy of the game. It has less power but can still cause weird shit to happen. In fact, this can tie together with many odd entries on the Iceberg. It can let you find a blue star, open the Good Egg Galaxy egg, find the gold bunny from Gold Leaf's house, and many other things. This is just a silly what-if scenario, or in some cases a theory, but I love dumb shit like this. It's cool to imagine that no one plays the same version of a game. Anyways, that was part 2 of the Iceberg. Go check out part 1 if you missed it. As you can probably tell, I really love all of these games, so it was really fun getting to learn new facts about them. I hope the same was true with you. Also, if I got any facts wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, as I want to know the truth about these facts. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and consider subscribing and turning the post notification bell on. I put a lot of time into these videos, and that would help me out a lot. Anyways, it's been Swimpy, and I'm going back to play these games. Goodbye.